Welcome. Today we are going to be talking about the top meme coins. We're going to be talking about Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, respectively at a market cap of around 35 billion and around 30 billion. These coins have continued to amaze faces, so today we won't be discussing too much about where to buy them, but we are going to be analyzing the price. We're going to be analyzing the price according to several different things. We're going to be taking a look at price indicators, technical indicators, chart patterns, and candles. If you're not yet familiar with these price analysis tools, I will try to briefly discuss them in this video. So let's dive into it. The thing that we like to do with all our technical analysis is start at one of the highest time frames possible. So in this case, we are going to be doing that from a 12-month. So each candle that you see on the screen is going to be 1 year. We're going to be digressing that back to the daily. So you will see 12-month, 6-month, 3-month, monthly, weekly, daily, and perhaps even a bit lower, if that's interesting for this video. Let's dive into it. Because it's the first yearly candle, we cannot read too much about it. We can see that the candle has been filled for over half, so this is something that's still interesting to watch. You can see that the first 6-month candle for SHIBA trading on Binance was not that interesting. The second one is still doing pretty fine. It's going to be closing in about 1 month and 18 days. And if it closes above this simple red line, we could call it a bullish engulfing, and that could mean that the price is going to rise in the future. Next, we're looking at quarterly candles. So as you guys can see, Shiba Inu just melted some faces in the last 3 months. As you can see, the first and second 3-month candles were not that impressive. They were basically pretty low. However, this 3-month candle or this quarterly candle has already produced a price rise of around 700%. Looking at the monthly candle, we can see that also the previous monthly candles weren't that interesting. You can see that only the last monthly candle pretty much stated that Shiba Inu was going to be a player that's going to be recognized in the space. For now, the most interesting thing is to stay inside of this big green candle. We won't probably go anywhere below the half of this candle. Taking a look at the weekly graph, we can get a little bit of a better overview of what we are seeing. As you can see, we can now clearly see some volume bars as well. Those are the last things that put our analysis to work. So let's dive into the previous things we saw when Shiba Inu was still relatively cheap. As you can see, within this weekly candle in July, you saw a green candle that ate the red candle. This means that price is going to be rising, probably. And we saw this as well on the week before the breakout. And with that breakout, we also saw huge amounts of volume. And as you can see, that resulted in a huge price increase. We also always have our moving averages on, which are unfortunately not yet to be seen because it's not that long on Binance right now. Another thing that I'm popping on the screen right now is right here is the MACD, the MACD, also known as the moving average convergence divergence. But I will elaborate a bit more on that once it gets interesting. From the daily time frame, so each candle is a single day, you can start to get a bigger picture. As you can see, this red line is the 50 moving average. So the red line represents the average price of the last 50 days. As you can see, an interesting zone to take into account is the zone that's located right around the 0.0003 area. This was a place where we had some resistance, as it can also be noted in the previous time section, as you can see here. So this is something that we are going to be putting a small box on. This is an interesting price to take a look at. Another interesting thing to follow is this red line. Because the red line usually is the confidence indicator. So when we touch the confidence indicator and we stay above, that's usually a very good sign. Now let's zoom into the price a little bit. As you can see, we've had some downfall, and you can see this was the first green signal. So this was the first candle, the first bar that closed above a red candle completely. We then had a decent downfall again, and now we've had the next big green candle. These two candles can indicate that the bottom could be found right here. If this candle also is able to produce a bullish engulfing candle, then things might start to become interesting again for Shiba Inu. A thing that's to be watched from the 4-hour time frame is that we are currently between the 50 moving average, which is the red line, and the purple line. The purple line is a 200 moving average. And in this case, everything represents a time frame of 4 hours. So every candle represents a time frame of 4 hours. What we can see here is that the price is currently being repressed by the red line and most likely going to be touching the purple line once more. And as you can see, now that we are looking at the smaller time frames, we can also see a small disturbance right here, disturbance in the price. And you can see that this also acted as a support or as a moment of temporary support. So this is also an interesting thing to watch for the Shiba Inu traders. This should align with the 50 moving average in the next few days. So basically what we would like to do is open a position on the red line. So the most important thing to watch right now is the shorter time frame support of the purple line, the 200 moving average, and the daily 50 moving average. These two should support the price for the next few days/weeks. Altogether, from the longer time frames, the Shiba price seems pretty decent and could be set for new highs, because the meme craze definitely does not seem to be over. The other coin that we were going to be looking at was Dogecoin, and Dogecoin has been around for quite some time. You can also get a bigger or better view because, as you can see, Dogecoin has been trading on Polynex, this exchange, since 2014. Because of the huge price increase, the last price action isn't all that valuable. We will be starting again from the yearly candle, and what we can see is that we've had a huge top at around 75-76 cents before dropping down all the way back to 26-25 cents. What we want to see here is that this candle should at least be able to produce somewhere around more than 50% of this wick, as we call it, this green line. That would mean that for the next year the price could sustain some interesting things. How could we ever have seen the Dogecoin craze coming? Well, it wasn't that difficult at the beginning of this year. What we could see was that there was a big green candle in 2017, which was the first bullish year for cryptocurrencies. We then had some pretty rough times. You could see that we topped out at around 2 cents, fell all the way back to 0.002, so around declined by a factor of 10 more or less, and then the last yearly candle produced a bullish engulfing candle. As we've discussed in the previous section of this video, this green candle completely engulfed the previous candle. So this was a decent sign that there were interesting things coming for Dogecoin. However, none of us could have predicted that the price would be rising this hard. As you can see, to date this year, Dogecoin has risen about 6,000 or 5,000%, and interesting to see where this is going to be going in the next few years. But let's now dive deeper into the longer or the shorter time frames. As you can see, the 6 month and the 3 month are not that interesting because we have this huge wick that is currently not telling us too much. The last quarterly candle was nice and decently inside of this big bullish engulfing. So what we would love to see, if possible, within the next 1 month and 18 days is that if this candle, this green candle, could eat up or engulf the previous red candle, that would set us up for new incredible highs. Going down to the monthly time frame, we can start to see some moving average. So the first moving average that we are seeing is the 50 moving average, currently placed at around 5 cents. So this should be a decent support zone for people that are really going to be taking a fall on the Dogecoin cryptocurrency. However, from the weekly, we are starting to get some more clear signals, and we can start to take a look at what happened before the bump. Of course, as we said, at the beginning of 2020, we had a impressive yearly close, which was resulted in 3 weeks of calmness before we exploded. And we exploded all the way to 7.5 cents before diving down deeper. As you can see, then there was another bullish engulfing right here and right here. These two candles produced the next big candle. And as you can see, then we were in total price discovery mode with almost nowhere to stop. And just like Shiba is on the daily, is Doge on the weekly. So Doge is currently being held up by the 50 weekly moving average. A thing that we have been seeing right here is this red candle, and this red candle could be something to worry about. So as long as we are not above this price, we can expect a fall down towards the 50 moving average. So once again, the 50 moving average could be a great place to open up your positions. For the time being, Dogecoin is currently in a bit of a denial state, where we can say that we would like to see what happens when we touch the red line once again. If we fall through, the next thing we should be looking at is the around 7.5 cent zone, as we just discussed, or the 200 weekly moving average. Going down to the daily, we can see that the indecisiveness of Dogecoin is becoming something really big. As you can see, we have been struggling to keep up with the moving averages. We have been between the two, and this is really squeezing the price. A thing that you can usually take into account when you are charting something that's becoming as narrow as the Dogecoin price is the Bollinger Bands. The closer they are, the more likely it is that we will get an explosive reaction from the thing that we are analyzing. And as you can see, we are currently in a really narrow place. So Dogecoin should be doing something crazy in the next few weeks/months. So for now, the thing that we are looking at is a breakout either above the 200 daily moving average or below the 50 daily moving average. And the next zone to look at would be the 50 weekly moving average before thinking about new stuff. Altogether, the meme coins have been going crazy for the last year. Altogether, they are currently worth around 70 billion, which is incredible. I could have only imagined that something like this was going to be happening. But with Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, there are a lot of big influencers, big companies, people like Elon Musk that can move the markets. So whatever you're going to do, make sure to follow Dogecoin and Shiba Inu closely, and make sure to keep an eye on all the aspects that come into this meme coin. So make sure that you follow Elon Musk on Twitter. Make sure that you follow the big guys from Shiba Inu on Twitter. Make sure that you know what's happening, so you can be the first to act on when things happen. The bull market of 2021 does not seem to be over yet, so we might get another run of these meme coins, and these things could melt faces once again.